What's up, everyone? I thought I'd make a quick video today talking about my journey of how I became a flat earther. I thought that might be interesting to some people to hear, and others might relate to it. And I know other people are like, all right, this is the video where he tells us he never went to school and that he hated science and thinks physics is dumb. But no, I went to school and I liked science. Actually, when I took those little tests, those are like, what are you going to be when you grow up tests, I always got like the scientist. So I like science, man. I even used to draw little space shuttles on my homework. And my favorite planet to draw was Saturn. I like to draw Saturn, the rings on it. But drawing Saturn is hard. I challenge anyone right now, try and draw Saturn. It's going to look stupid. Your ring is going to look like a spaghettio. It's not going to look like the real thing. So, so yeah, this is what happened. So it all started off, I guess, in February of 2015. I had just had a skiing accident, clipped into my ski on a tree and twisted my knee around and ripped a bunch of stuff. So I went from skiing and hiking and riding my motorcycle and doing any outdoor sport that I could do to sitting in a chair doing nothing. So I was trying to find something to fill all that time with. So I started getting into the YouTube videos. And I remember I'd always heard, 9/11 was an inside job, 9/11 was an inside job, but I refused to look at it. I just refused to look at it. I was a diehard patriot, statist. Man, I bled red, white, and blue. Yeah, I thought America was the home of freedom and the beacon for hope throughout the entire globe, and that we were the pinnacle of society and that everybody needed to be like an American. I literally bought that. That's how I was. So I didn't want to look at it. I didn't want to look at the possibility of it as an inside job, and the government that I think is so righteous and good is actually evil. So that right there made me not want to look at it for I don't know how many years. But basically, I had all this time on my hands, so I was like, well, let's take a look, like, it doesn't put it past me. So I look at it, and it doesn't take but just a few hours, and I quickly realized Muslims had nothing to do with it whatsoever. It was indeed my own government that was the evil. That was the evil behind it. And I don't know what else to call it. It's evil. I mean, when you murder your own people, lie to the rest of them, also you can invade a country of innocent people and kill them too for profit. Like, that takes the cake as pure evil to me. I don't know what beats that. That's terrible. And coming to that realization that it was my government that did it, that hurt my heart. That made me feel terrible. I was depressed. It was like finding out like a family member that you love and look up to your whole life was like a rapist, or they murdered people, or something horrible. You're just like, man, it just rips your soul out. But after that, after I came to the grips of that, I started looking into other conspiracies. You go through the Sandy Hook, Boston bombing, the whole rigmarole of all the different false flags and hoaxes, chemtrails. And I'm starting to see how the world works. I'm starting to see through the deceptions, through the lies. And in getting into all that, I made a few new Facebook friends. And I'll never forget this one guy. His name was Paul Andrews. And he was on another level. Honestly, that guy was only on Facebook for just a few months after I got friends with him, and then he left. He was like, this is a waste of time. This doesn't go along with my vibes, man. I got to get off this. I got to get back to living a real life. And he got off, and I've never seen the guy since. But yeah, he'd talk about fluoride and GMOs and, all that stuff. But he was also talking about, like walking around barefooted and not cutting your hair off and stuff like that. That guy was on another level. And I'll never forget, one of the last things he posted before he got off there was this meme. It was like one of those, like, people sitting there and they're like see-through and you can see all the vibes coming off of them. They're like green. You know what I mean? And it said something about flat earth. I don't even remember what the meme said. It just said the words flat earth. And I just remember the instant I saw that, I was like, you retard. You barefooted hobbit walking around thinking you're on a flat earth idiot. Like, we all know it's a globe because we just know it. And anyways, I thought it was dumb. And I just kept scrolling. I didn't call him dumb. I just was like, he just went full retard right there. But that little flat earth seed was planted. And it just sat there for a few months. Never really acted upon it or anything. Went along doing my normal thing. And I remember one day I'm sitting there at work. And I've been through all the chemtrail videos. I've been through all the Sandy Hook hoax videos, Boston smoke bombing, you name it. I was done. I wanted something different, and this suggested video pops up. Just happens to pop up. And whoever recently just said that YouTube is responsible for the flat earth awakening was spot on. Because if it wasn't for YouTube, I don't know if I ever would have seen a flat earth video or been presented with any of that type of evidence. You know what I mean? So, and like anybody else, I'm like, this is going to be so stupid. I'm going to debunk this in like 5 minutes. But I'm bored. I'll give it a shot. I'll see what these crazy flat earthers are talking about. I mean, they think the earth is flat for real? Wow. This is going to be quick. I'm going to get this one done, and I'll be on to the next one in 10 minutes. And I think the video was like a Mark Sargent video. I think someone had mirrored one of his videos or something. It was like the top 16 proofs or something. And after every little 3-minute proof he'd give, and he'd be like, and if this doesn't make sense, ask questions. Or something like that. It was like this real cheesy little monologue after every little proof. That's all I really remember from it. But I'm sitting there going, oh, this is going to be dumb. And then I hit the play button. And let me tell you, within like 15 minutes, my jaw was on the ground. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I couldn't believe what I was hearing because it made sense. Because it was practical. It was logical. It was scientific. It was stuff that I could verify with my own personal experiences and basic observations and just stuff that we know. And my mind was blown. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I was like, oh my God. I started to get a little scared. So I'm like, quick, let me get some globe proofs to counteract all these flat earth proofs that are blowing my mind. Because, God, there's got to be like 100 globe proofs, right? I mean, there's got to be like 100 of them. I mean, all these flat earthers got all these proofs that make sense. Well, the globe has got to have some too, right? Globe proofs, Google it. And what do I get? I get the most nonsensical crap. Stuff like, well, boats go over the horizon. And look at the moon, it's got a curved shadow on it, so we must be curved too. And didn't you know back in 5 million years ago in Greece, they did this experiment where they stuck sticks in the ground, and then they looked at the shadows? How would you even do that experiment all those years ago? How would you communicate between the 2 points? Come on, people, how could you make that scientific? How would you know that they're doing the exact same thing at the exact same time? Freaking ridiculous. And people just buy this stuff. And then they bring up like boats over the horizon after I just got done watching all these flat earth videos that debunk it with like binoculars. And I'm like, come on. I'm like, this is your best thing? Come on, people, you're letting me. I was like, oh wow. I started to get scared because there was no legitimate globe proofs. It's like NASA pictures is one. Well, there's NASA pictures. Yeah, they look like cartoons. They're all different. They're stupid looking. Okay, so we got NASA. We got, well, a scientist said it. A scientist said, someone that was smarter than me told me, so it must be true. We got that one. And then we got, well, everybody else believes it. Well, everybody else believes it, so it must be the truth if everybody else believes it. Like, dude, what kind of zombie thinking is that? I mean, literally, those are the three fallacies. I've asked repeatedly for someone to show me one type of proof or evidence outside of those 3 things, because that's what always gets brought up. Here's what gets brought up. They'll show, well, don't you know about NASA? And then they'll show you some crazy scientific article where it would just be like Einstein. They don't even bring the article. They just like, haven't you heard of Einstein? You know, like that there proves it. Just ridiculous. So, you know, I'm like, I'm like seeing that there's no proof. So I'm like, this is getting crazy. So then I'm like, well, let me go to these YouTube guys that claim they're like destroying the flat earth and flat earth debunked. And, you know, those videos are a joke. Those videos are a complete joke. I couldn't even believe it because like an hour before I started watching those, I was like full on globe head. I was like ready to go to space. I was ready to go colonize Mars. I believed all that stuff. I believed all that stuff. And so I'm like, come on, guys, like, give me something. I need something that's substantial. And all they do, all these heliocentric enthusiasts, I'll try and be nice, all they did was call names and insult. That's all their video was. It was like a dude sitting in front of his webcam all super angry, calling people flattards and retards and idiots and how they don't know about science and they don't know about how to look at a NASA picture. I mean, it was ridiculous. I'm like, oh, wow. I'm like, dude, I'm sorry, but the flat earth videos clown these globe videos. I mean, the flat earth videos are like full. They're crammed full of all these proofs and science and evidence and numbers and tons of stuff. And they're not calling people names. And then I go watch these globe guys, and all they're doing is calling people names. And they have zero evidence. Zero. It's unbelievable. I don't think I finished one of those globe videos because they were all so bad. They were all just so bad. Just vulgar and terrible. That right there, that was one of the main things that kind of tipped me to the flat earth was just the lack of globe proof. Just the lack of anything that supports the globe. It's all just dogmatic belief. That's it. You just believe it because you were told it. But when you grow up and you start questioning it, when you're able to question it, I'm telling you, it falls apart quick. Real quick. You start asking about gravity, like what's gravity? I mean, gravity is like the most ridiculous theory if you think about it, but they teach it in schools as it's a fact. We know what gravity is. No, you don't. So you're trying to tell me that mass connects with other mass, and then it knows it connected, it got bigger, so then the physiological properties of it change, and it starts pulling in other mass. Do you realize how nonsensical that sounds? The bigger the rock is, it can pull in littler rocks. I mean, it's just mass combined with mass pulls in mass. Somebody show me that in an experiment, please. Please, just show me that in an experiment. No. It's ridiculous. And then they go, well, everything gets pulled to the center. You don't even know what's at the center. You don't know what's there. The farthest any human has dug down is 8 miles. That's not the center of the earth. And did you find lava down there? No, you didn't. So there goes your whole molten crust theory. Back to the drawing board on that one, because you didn't dig the lava, did you? No, you didn't. Freaking stupid. And people just buy this stuff, man. They just read it in the paper, read it, see it online, and then they just repeat it. It's literally like that scene in Dumb and Dumber. That could not be more spot on, where Lloyd goes and looks at the picture of the moon landing, and he just reads it off the paper, and then walks out and starts telling everybody they landed on the moon. Because he read it in the newspaper. So then you guys go preach it. It's like a little parody. You just repeat it. And people do that all the time. All the time. Did you realize that it's raining diamonds on Saturn? I read it on a space.com article. Like, so yeah. And here's one of the things too. Like when I started getting into these videos, it clicked pretty quick. I mean, it got me thinking fast. I was like, wow, this is blowing my mind right now. And I remember when I went and talked to my family about it for the first time. I remember I was just like, hey, I watched this really cool video, and they were talking about how the Earth might be flat. They were talking, like, I couldn't say the word. I couldn't say the words flat Earth. And it's so weird. Like, I'm sure other people that have become flat earthers know what I'm talking about. Like, it's so deeply ingrained. The globe is so deeply ingrained that it's literally hard to say the words flat earth at the beginning. It's just like your brain's like going, error, program, error, program, error. Like, you're not supposed to be saying the words flat earth. That should have been gone when you were like 2 years old. But yeah, I mean, just so I'm trying to tell him, and I just remember I get this like reaction from my dad, where it's almost like I feel like this is what like a gay person feels like when they come out to their family. I just got that disappointed look. He like wasn't mad. He was just like, "You believe the Earth is flat? Like for real? Like I have failed as a parent? Like no, you didn't fail as a parent. Trust me, no, it makes sense." And then I'm trying to explain it, and like I've only watched like 2 videos. So I can't explain it very good. I don't sound anything like the videos. I'm not. It's kind of like that kid when you like learn karate and you learn that first move and you want to go show everybody the move, but you don't really know how to do it yet. That's kind of what it was like. I'm out here trying to talk about flat Earth and I don't even know. I don't even know it all yet. I just seen a couple videos that got me thinking. So yeah, here's another thing, man. You're not gonna talk anybody into the flat Earth. You're not gonna do it. Okay. Nobody talked me into it. I didn't get in a Facebook argument and somebody just beat it into me with like meme after meme after meme. And if I was like, oh, you know what? After that 30th flat earth meme, now I'm a flat earther. No, it doesn't work like that. And that's the whole thing. That's a hard thing to get around because you can really only become a flat earther when you decide that you want to open up your mind and look at it. Until you can come to grips with that, it ain't gonna happen. And that's hard to do. I mean, I had to sit down when I was ready on my own terms and look at the information when I was ready. And nobody made me do it. I did it because I wanted to, and that's how it has to happen. So, trying to have an argument with somebody and beat into them, yeah, you can give them good points, but ultimately it's going to have to be an internal thing for them. They're going to have to switch their thinking around. That's a tough thing. It's a tough thing. So, yeah. Family, they didn't say I was dumb or anything. They were just kind of like, oh, God, here's his new thing. Yeah, and when I started getting into this flat earth stuff, too, it started bringing up, like, memories of things that, when I was growing up, maybe didn't make sense at the time, but there's, when you introduce flat earth, it makes sense. Stuff like, I remember in 5th grade when we learned about the flat earth, we literally spent like 45 minutes to an hour on it. That was it. That was it. It literally went like this. He's like, okay, how do we know that the Earth is a round ball, everybody? And the kid raised his hand, because we have NASA pictures. And she's like, that's correct, because we have NASA pictures. And that was it. It's because we have NASA pictures. We didn't talk about the curvature formula. We didn't talk about seeing things going over, how water bends, nothing. Because we have NASA pictures. Debate settled. Over. Done. And then we literally spent the next 45 minutes like going completely off tangent making fun of primitive flat earthers and how stupid they were. And you know why? Because this is the picture that they had in the textbook. I'll never forget this picture. This is what it was. It was like a Tom Sawyer raft, like the logs held together with twine. And there was like 2 primitive people on it with a little loin cloth. That's all they had, and like Indian feathers. And they were like dark skinned. And the one, he's like on the front of the raft, like on his knees, on his hands. He's just riding the front of that raft, man. He's all excited. And then the other one's in the back, and he's like holding a stick. He's the one steering it, I guess, with his stick. And guess where they're going? If you said right over the edge of the flat earth into space, you were correct. That's where they were sailing. They were like 10 feet from going over a waterfall into space. And that's what gets me. It's because every picture that has to make fun of the flat earth, that's what they have to go to. The whole point that you're going to fall off the edge. I know people think they're funny and stuff when they're just like, you tell them the earth is flat. They're like, well, how do you not fall off the edge? And they think they're like the only one that ever thought of that. Like, they're the only one that thought of that. No, dude, because every picture you see of the flat earth shows water falling off the side, people falling off, whatever. It's always the edge of the flat earth. That's because they beat that into you. I mean, could it work maybe like a lake? You know how a lake has land around it and holds the water in? Anyway, just think about that. So yeah, I start getting, I start remembering these things. I just remember how weird that day was, how that lesson went, how it went down. It's like, why are we going to all this extra time and trouble to make fun of these people? Like, we don't do this with any other ancient culture. Why are we going out of our way to make fun of these people? We didn't make fun of these other people for killing people and sacrificing their hearts to the sun god. Oh, maybe because that still happens today. But anyway, you know what I'm saying? So, like, it seemed weird. And then another thing that came back to my memory was my trip to England. I remember that. I remember flying over the ocean, and we're getting to the East Coast. And I remember, I was like, why does the ocean look like a giant blue wall? I couldn't believe how high up it was. It was like up to your eye level. And it was a big blue wall coming straight. It was so weird looking. And it was especially weird because the coastline was like right there. So it was like halfway up the wall. It looked like I was looking at a vertical thing. It was very bizarre. And I can never understand why this big flat blue line that just went out forever, why it was so high. Makes sense though. If you're looking at an infinite plane, the horizon rises up. It's in every art class. Everything goes to the vanishing point. So that kind of clicked. And then when we were coming back, we're going from England to Texas. Texas is in the southern part of America, okay? But our route took us up by Greenland and then through the northern part of Canada down. Why are we going through the northern part of Canada? Why is Toronto on my east when we're going back down through Canada? Like, that made no sense to me. Why wouldn't you just fly a direct line right to the southern part of America? Why are we going way up north? Until I saw it on the flat earth map. Yes, I realize the AE map has a few issues. Maybe some of the continents aren't in the right spot and we don't know how the sun works. But when you plot those 2 points on it, it's a straight line. It's perfect. You go from Dallas to England, it goes right over the route we went. And that blew my mind. I was like, wow, okay, that makes sense now. And it's crazy, you know. And here's another thing, you know, people like to make fun of the flat earthers and be like, oh, you guys think you're so special. You think you just know something that everybody else doesn't know. Oh, really? You think that makes me feel special? To be the only one that thinks a certain way? To feel alone? To everybody make fun of you? You think I feel special? Cool, okay. Well, that's not how that works, people. That's not how that works. The part that I think that they confuse it with is when you come to the flat earth realization and you realize maybe you're not walking on a globe and maybe you don't have it all figured out and you don't know everything about everything. I mean, because that's what comes along with the globe, is the belief that you know everything about everything. You know about evolution, you know the size of the ball, you know where it's spinning, how it's flying, you know everything. So there's nothing left to question. Why question everything when someone else has already figured it out? But when you look at a flat earth, all that goes out the window. And we're back to square one. We don't know how anything works. How does the sun work? How does the moon work? What are the stars? All kinds of stuff. And it just, like, you go back to square one. You go back to the drawing board, and it's kind of like amazing. And maybe it's because I live in a really special place. I live right on the foothills in Colorado, so I have the Rocky Mountains to the west, and I have the plains to the east. So any kind of elevation I get, I can see forever. Forever, you know. So I see things, and when I hike a mountain, I see that horizon rise up right up with me. It's crazy how that works. So yeah, it's not like we feel special. It's just you almost feel a sense of like excitement about where you live because you can question everything again. You're like, what really is this? You know. And that's where you feel excited. You get a sense of excitement with that. But being the only one at the dinner table that thinks the earth is flat and everybody thinking you're crazy, that's not exciting. That's not fun. That's not what you're in it for. You're just in it because you want to know the truth about where you live. That's it. I just want to know about the truth of where I live. But yeah, becoming a flat earther, you know, you have to say goodbye to the globe, which I didn't really have a problem with. I always thought the globe was kind of stupid looking anyways. Like a round ball with all those longitude and latitude lines. I thought that always looked stupid when I was growing up. I never liked it. But I did like space. You know, and having to get rid of the idea of what I thought space was. I don't know what space is. But do I think the moon is 240,000 miles away and stars are trillions of miles away? No, I don't. I think they're a lot closer. It's not what they're telling us. So, you know, to come to that realization, because I like Star Wars, I like all those space movies, Aliens is like my favorite movie. I've literally watched Aliens like every 6 months since I've been alive. I just love that movie. It's so great. You know, space thrillers like Event Horizon, awesome. Those are my movies. I love those movies. So, you know, to come to the realization that the universe is not even constructed like that for those types of movies to even be possible. I mean, I know they're science fiction, but it's taking place in a world that doesn't even exist. You know what I mean? So it just kind of wipes them out. And like you watch these movies too after you become a flat earther, and they're kind of funny. I watch Aliens, right? I love that movie. And it's so funny. Like, look when they're eating at the table, right? And they got the like fake cornbread or whatever they're eating. The dude's doing the little thing with his little knife. Look on the table. They got 2 gyroscopes just going crazy up there. Like, what? You keep your gyroscopes on the dinner table? Is that where you do your science? I'm eating my fake cornbread. Spin that gyroscope. Like, what is that? That's stupid. Aren't they a bunch of Marines anyways? Why do they got gyroscopes? Anyways. Okay, what about this scene in Aliens? Okay, they're in their Sulaka, their mothership, and it's just hanging up in orbit, like the ISS. Gravity doesn't affect it. It's just hanging up there, right? All day. No problems. There's no problems until they want to do the drop ship. And now you got to watch out for gravity, because all of a sudden gravity is going to pull that drop ship straight out the bottom of that mothership. Dude, they're just like, and then you got Hicks. He's like sleeping because he's so cool. He sleeps during drops. The new guy, he's never even done like but 2 drops. But I'm just saying, where did the gravity come from? Where did the gravity come from? How come the gravity's not pulling the Sulaka down onto LB-249? It just pulls the drop ship? That's what's so funny about gravity, man. It's so selective. It only works in like certain situations when it needs to. Like, it is ridiculous, man. Gravity. How do I keep them flying off a spinning ball? Gravity. How does the moon hang up there? Gravity. How do waves work? Gravity. I mean, you just say gravity, dude, and then that's it. Oh, man. Yeah, so, you know, I get into the flat earth, and one of the first things I started to do when I got into the flat earth was make memes as questions. Like, that's all the memes were to begin with, was just questions. One of my first ones was the meme, it's still floating around. It's the one where I'm like, hey, if we're on the earth spinning at 1,000 miles an hour and we're going around the sun at 66,600 miles an hour and we're shooting through space at 450 million miles, whatever. I name all the speeds. I say, if we're doing all these speeds, how do we see the same constellations for thousands of years? You know, people, well, they do change, Nick. They're just so far away you don't notice. Like, no, they don't change. The North Star is always right there. The Big Dipper is always right there. Orion's dumb belt hadn't changed for thousands of years. It's never changed. Stupid same belt. So I'm just like, that doesn't make sense. So I'm making these memes like questions. Like, somebody please answer this for me. I need help. No one can answer it. Other than it does move and you just can't see it. Like, that's the dumbest answer of all of them. That's literally the dumbest answer of all of them. You know, I made another one about the gravitron. About how does the gravitron work? Why do they call it the gravitron when it throws you to the outside and you stick to the wall? And I like Russian vids. He like 2 weeks later, he got a hold of that meme and he made like a little video about it. And he's like, look at this, guys. And he just starts ripping it apart in Russian vid style. I was like, yes, that's awesome. So I kind of like got like grouped as a flat earther. I mean, my memes were showing up in like Eric DeBay videos like a month after I watched my first flat earth video. I'm just making these memes, right? Because the thing with the flat earth, man, there's just so many different aspects, so many different things you can talk about with the flat earth. Stars, the moon, the curvature, the water, the list goes on and on. Gyroscopes, radar, wind, Coriolis. The list just goes on and on. I mean, you could make memes for days about everything, and that's what I did. I was making them hard and heavy, and they were showing up in like Eric DeBay videos. I'm seeing them in all these videos. I'm like, dang, I better come out as a flat earther real quick, or else people are going to think I'm a shill. They're going to look on my Facebook and be like, he hasn't even came out as a flat earther yet. And I'm seeing his memes all over. So I think on Earth Day 2016, I finally publicly came out as a flat earther. But the memes are fun. I like making the memes, man, because with the way people are, no offense to anybody, but people got the attention span of a gnat. Like, you have that 1 nanosecond to get their attention, or else they just keep scrolling. So that's why I like the memes. You got to put an image on there that stops, make them look at the image, and then you can't have too many words, because too many words means too much reading, and that's too hard. They're going to scroll. So it's got to be just a direct message. Pow! And I'm a real direct person. I communicate real, I got a hard time like fluffing up emails. I tell it how it is in like 6 words, and that's it. So I kind of got a gift for the memes. Plus, I come from an artistic background. I always like to do design work. So it's like a perfect recipe for nonstop memes. And I was doing nonstop memes for like the year of 2016. Jeez Louise, I made so many. During that spring and summer, I was putting out like 3-4 a day. There was like a morning one, a lunch one, and a night one. I was putting them out like 3 times a day. And, I'm seeing them in all the videos like Flat Earth Matters, Jared Moore. Shout out to Jared Moore. He gave me a lot of pointers back in the day. I'd bounce my ideas off him before I'd post them, and he helped me a lot with his suggestions, made a lot of my memes a lot better. So, shout out to Jared Moore. Thanks, man. But yeah, it was a good time. I was putting out all these memes, and then I decided I'd start my little Nick Havok page and just dump all my memes there so people could just go there at any time and grab them. And I'm telling you, that thing's still going. I think I started out with maybe like 400 people liking it. Now that thing's up to 1,700. I don't even really promote it. Heck, I've been off Facebook the past like 4 months or something. I come back and it's like 400 more people on there. It's crazy. So if you guys want some dank flat earth memes, go to Nick Havok on Facebook. Havok. And also, just for fun, you should go back and look at some of your favorite flat earth memes and see if you can find my name on there anywhere. See if you can find the name Nick Havok, because you'd be surprised. I don't really put it sometimes in real noticeable spots. It's kind of like my little Easter egg. I like to just put it in there. That way I can prove later, like, nah, see, that's got my name on it. I did that one. But I'm not trying to make the focus go right to my name. Like, I don't care. It's not about that. It's about the message. But it's just kind of like my little personal Easter egg. Put my little internet name on there, Nick Havok. Which, yeah. So anyways, yeah, I like making the memes. And I'll tell you what, man. The negative feedback I get about my memes is like fuel to the fire. That makes me want to make even more memes. Because someone will say something real ridiculous. I'm like, oh, I got to meme that. I got to find a way to meme that. And it's also fun because you have a meme for like every argument. Like, I just got an addictive personality, so when I started making memes, I'm like, I got to have one about everything. Like, every subject of the flat earth, I need a meme for it. So I got quite a bit. I think I got like 800 or 900 up there maybe on my Facebook page. So yeah, if you want to check that out, if you get bored someday, go scroll through those, see what you like. All right. Well, I think that's about it. That's how I became a flat earther. And now I'm making videos on YouTube. Step my game up a little bit, do some experiments maybe. Cool. All right, guys. Well, until the next one, y'all. Peace.